In spring 2013, Edward Snowden's revelation, the contractor of the US National Security Agency, sent shockwaves through member states. Europeans became familiar with the word cybersecurity. We met the men responsible for achieving a high and effective level of network and information security within the EU. His work is considered as essential for ensuring prosperity and to keep the online economy running. Udo Helmbrecht, hello and welcome to the European Parliament. You're the Executive Director of ENISA, which means the European Agency for Network and Information Security. Now, if there's a need for such an agency, this means there's normally a threat. Is Europe prepared, and how prepared is it in fact?
We're in certain areas prepared, but honestly in other areas we have still a long way to go. For example, we have exercises with the member states, we have a good network with the computer emergency response teams. This means on a technical level we are prepared, we can talk to telecommunication organizations. But if you look on a political level, we have currently the NIS directive in the trilogue with the Parliament, Commission and the Council, and this shows that there still is a long way to go.
You said telecommunication on the one hand side, they are normally supposed to report the problems they had. I think, do other companies have to report specialized on the internet? Let's say Facebook on the one hand side, companies like Cisco, for example, do they have to report problems they had? How do you deal with it?
The answer is strictly no. I think if you look back, started in 2009 when the Commission launched the Communication and Critical Infrastructure Protection, which means we are talking here in the area of resilience of the internet, robustness of the internet, and therefore you have the telecommunication framework regulation where there's an article that telcos have to report. But in the other areas, you can say everyone can still do what they want on the internet.
If it's possible to listen to Angela Merkel, to Chancellor Merkel on her phone, I suppose it's even easier to get into a company's server and steal very, very important information. Is the threat real?
Well, if you know from the Snowden revelation, the threat is real. Otherwise it would not be published and discussed about. I think what you said in the beginning, Europe became aware of the problem, but we still have no solution. Yeah? So I think one point is that we are dependent on information technologies, but you have a lot of US companies or Chinese companies who deliver the core components. You have a lot of small and medium companies in Europe which are working in the IT security area, but you don't have really big players. You have a couple of big companies, but if you look, for example, Nokia, the mobile division is now with Microsoft, so there are no any mobiles in Europe anymore. If you mentioned Cisco before, you have Huawei and Cisco who are the market leader. The problem is really that over decades Europe was focusing on competition, and on a political level the people didn't care that core technologies went outside Europe. So I think we need a policy initiative that we have more core competences and companies again in Europe.
There are about 28 different cybersecurity policies in Europe. Is there a European cybersecurity strategy in Europe?
We have one. The positive thing is that the politicians have understood there is an issue. And as I mentioned, with the NIS directive or the data protection regulation, there are a couple of initiatives. So hopefully with these initiatives we can also then go a step further.
Last question. Business. Europe talks about the digital agenda being the solution to get out of the crisis. This will be the economy of the future. How safe is Europe today, and how ready is Europe today to develop a real digital agenda?
The problem is when I give such an interview that I don't want to panic. Yeah? But I think if you look at this, there's one big challenge I think a lot of people are not aware. We are coming in a lot of cases out of the analog world into the digital world. And those people in the analog world don't have skill sets of the digital world. So this means if you look into smart meters for electricity metering in households, who really looks after that secure? If you have assistant driving, you'll talk about safety, but the question in the future really talks about IT security. And I think it's not enough people and engineers who think about IT security.
Udo Helmbrecht, thanks a lot for this interview.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.